Ever thought of what a sadomasochistic culture we really have? How much of our emotional pulse really revolves around pain? How many people cling to grim religions based on torture, afraid to break the cycle out of fear of the unknown? It's so much more secure just to hate your own guts. Break down, kneel down, confess, and think of all the horrible things that are going to happen to you if you don't confess. It's a crime to open your eyes. It's a sin to look around and explore too far. Threats from above keep people whipped. Sadomasochism on a stick. And what do we talk about at parties to get attention? Pleasure? Love? We talk about pain. Like showing off the busted leg to the chums in the locker room or at the ski lodge. Or, look at all these gnarly scars I got when I wiped out on my skateboard. War wounds, pain, the proof of purchase of adventure. I crashed and burned, therefore I am alive. When was the last time you heard someone reminisce about the orgasm they had the other day? What kind of reaction do you think they get anyway? So far I hear or say something like that at a department store. It might be, ooh, pervert, guards, take him away. Or in the ever more uptight sectors of our more political than thou underground scene, you might get the reaction, ew, sexist. I mean, I don't agree with a lot of what hip-hop artists like Ice-T or Two Live Crew or the Ghetto Boys have to say about women. But I do think Ice-T has an interesting point. Imagine what life would be like if we all felt relaxed enough and comfortable around each other that a person of either sex could go up to somebody else of either sex that they secretly found attractive or radiant, lovable, in need of a hug, whatever, you know, male, female, female, male, 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 female, female. Just go up and come right out and say, hey, let's get butt naked and fuck. And if the other person responded by saying, no, I don't want to, it wouldn't be such a big, tense, shattering, horrible, degrading deal because the stakes wouldn't be raised so damn high that rejection wouldn't hurt so bad that the other person couldn't just immediately say, oh, okay, that's fine, let's just be friends then. Sure would eliminate a lot of uptight, stupid games. And that, to me, is why so many artists and rap and rock musicians who deal openly with sex and sexuality are being treated as political subversives. But no, you talk about that stuff just about anywhere today. What do you want to bet that the other people around you would kind of cringe and grow a little uncomfortable, maybe smile and go, hunting frantically in the corner of their eye. Won't someone change the subject to something, anything else? It's just too taboo to talk pleasure in this arena. The person who does receives the pain of being shunned. Thus, the lesson is implanted. Fear is the teacher. Next time, think and feel in ways the others can relate to. Tales of wigging out on drugs won't make other people quite so jealous. Don't fight the current or you could be swept out to sea. Remember what sells versus what is untouchable. Avoid the hurt that comes with feeling icky. Filter your feelings through our orbit of pain. responsible for the nurturing of children. These are demographic facts. But everyone can do their own thing. So let's keep the hardcore stuff away from the kids. The industry should help. This will enhance individual freedom of choice. And by the way, I never use hairspray. I prefer to be natural. And thanks. So I wrote her back. Gore, PMRC, and Cream readers. On the surface, your letter justifying your campaign to censor rock was surprisingly convincing. I'd almost be ready to fall for your concerned mommy act if it weren't for what your group says they really have in mind. I mean, guess who publishes Tipper's book here? This is the wholesale catalog from Abingdon Press, located in Nashville, Tennessee. Page 1, you have Tipper's book. Page 2, Tipper's book again. Then we get Evangelicals in America, who they are, what they believe. Guess what the slogan is of Abingdon Press? America's first name in religious publishing. This person's husband is running as a liberal for president, keep in mind. Other titles include Spiritual Harvest, The Birth of God. Oh, here we are. Sacred Chow, the ultimate guide to potluck dinners. Another title we have here is Jesus Never Said Everyone Was Lovable. And every other title in this catalog is directly for the religious market except one book, which on the surface doesn't appear to be. Anyway, where were we? If the PMRC doesn't want to censor, why do its own handouts call for, this is a quote now, reassessment of contracts of artists who do things on stage the PMRC doesn't happen to approve of? This isn't just censorship, ma'am, it's blackballing. Who defines what a cult is when records get raided? Tipper Gore or Jimmy Swaggart? Your witch hunt has now damaged the lives of real victims. Me and 4 other people now face up to a year in jail and a $2,000 fine over what dead Kennedys say with their records. Item: the record store that sold the record to the kid in my court case was not charged. City attorney says, well, they were cooperative and took dead Kennedys off the shelves. Not just the Frankenchrist album that got charged, they took everything we ever made off all of their shelves and never brought it back again. That sound like blackballing, chilling effect? The climate you and Mr. Ed helped create made it lucrative for these charges to be filed in Los Angeles the day before Election Day. The LA City Attorney's Office says they picked us to prosecute because it was, quote, cost-effective, unquote. In other words, we are under arrest because we run our own record company, or therefore the easiest to bankrupt. I do agree that too much of today's music does blatantly commercialize brutality and fosters a degrading attitude towards women. That's funny. So does Rambo. So does almost everything on primetime TV, especially the commercials. But let's face it, Motley Crue and Judas Priest are just our generation's Bing Crosby and Bob Hope. Skilled vaudeville comedians who know how to play it safe to make a buck. Sure, they're corny, but does that mean they should be censored? I mean, who encourages more kids to wind up dead? Ozzy Osbourne or military recruiting ads? And why? Why is country western spared from your war on words? I've heard lots of whiskey-drenched honky-tonk tunes that glorify people with guns that beat their wives. Or is country protected because your husband's a senator from Tennessee and must respect the powers down in Nashville? Come on, do you really think taking away a kid's Prince and Ozzy records and substituting U2 and Phil Collins like the cassette Jeff Ling made for you says to do? Will that do anything to change the kid's taste besides making him even angrier at his parents? If I were a parent and my kid brought home something that I felt might be harmful to his emotional growth or whatever, like say Top Gun on video, or Sammy Hagar album, I wouldn't just hit the roof and grab the whole thing away. Would that teach the kid that what he bought might screw up his head? No. It would just reinforce the idea that Daddy just doesn't understand and Daddy's mean and Daddy's a fascist. He took my record away. What I would do is sit down with the kid and say, okay, you went out and bought this thing. Why? Tell me why you like it. Tell me what you see in it. What does it mean to you? What do you think they're trying to say? And now I'll tell you why I don't like it. It seems to me, Mrs. Gore, that rational communication and discussion is a far healthier way to help nurture a loving family. Your letter claims you are not an uptight prude who wants to ban rock, yet you keep trying to restrict our music to your own idea of normal sex and sensuality. I was born in the USA too. I do not need a bouffant-encrusted thought police to tell me or any younger kids what they can listen to. Your fantasies of laws that wash our art out with soap would be a whole lot funnier if the PMRC had less money and power. I would urge cream readers, people who love music, and you to keep an eye out for censorship going on in your area. Who's trying to shut down the radio stations and why? And oftentimes it'll be one crank who will get the ear of the FCC or the college president, and nobody shows up to give the other side. Somebody has to show up. After all, which consumer revolt really has more numbers? People who don't like music or people who do? I mean, what would happen if a bunch of letters came into CBS and Warner Brothers saying, I won't buy records with a warning sticker on them? Also, you can go to various record stores saying, if you take certain records out, I will not buy anything else from your store ever again. At the very least, why give the PMRC sponsors your money? I know I won't be buying Coors beer for a long, long time. Don't have much desire to buy 7-Up or fly on American Airlines or put up with a bull from Merrill Lynch. And by the way, Mrs. Gore, I don't care if you use hairspray. The Constitution says you can do that, too.